say that I'm very pleased to have with us Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom. The one thing I want to say, which is not written, is that, it's not here, is that he is a member of our Board of Regents, and he has brought so much thought and energy into the board, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. You ain't seen nothing yet, trust me. I was quiet yesterday, Chancellor, but well, let me just, first and foremost, thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, Commissioner, and to all the elected officials, and Mr. City Council member, and mayors, and representative, supervisor, and Congressional Representative Dan Lundgren. It's an honor to be here. I'm passionate about a lot of things, perhaps too many things, but no two things drive my intensity and purpose, particularly in my new role as Lieutenant Governor, than the issue of jobs, the economy, and the environment. And I'm here really in that stead as an advocate for sustainable developments, of course. As a former mayor of San Francisco, we had the most aggressive green building standards of any city in the United States. We had the most aggressive local climate action plan of any city in the United States. We did more on a per capita basis on solar than any city in the state of California, and have the 2 largest municipally owned solar projects in this state. I'm proud of that, and I say that not to impress you, but to impress upon you my sincere, intense belief that we can do more and do better as we grow our economy in changing the way we produce and consume energy. But the thing that drives my passion in the context of being here today also has to do with the issue of a state with an economic crisis. The thing that ails this state more than the budget, I would argue, and they're interdependent, is the fact that we have 26 counties as of last month with unemployment north of 15%. We've got 20 counties with unemployment, or rather 7 counties with unemployment north of 20%. These are depressionary unemployment numbers. We have got to focus on the issue of job creation. Now I say that to connect the obvious dot to those of you that get it. Carmel Partners is a San Francisco-based company. SunPower is a San Francisco Bay Area-based company down in San Jose. We've got Urban Village, which does extraordinary work out there in Denver, Colorado area, all coming together with our own UC Davis, creating jobs, which we are celebrating today, and creating a framework to dispel those that still maintain that we can't grow our economy and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by giving them the one thing we need to convince people that are not yet convinced, and that is evidence. And a lot of ideologues out there, most ideologues on both sides of the political aisle, they're not open in argument and interested in evidence. But when you walk them around a project like this, perhaps you can start breaking that down a little bit. Let me just quickly give you a frame of reference of why I believe that we don't need to provide that much more evidence than the evidence that has been celebrated or is being celebrated today, and the evidence that's been put together. You put $1 billion into opening up a coal plant, you could generate about 870 jobs. Not bad. You take the same $1 billion, you put it into a nuclear plant, you generate about 1,000 to 1,500 jobs on the high end. Put it into wind, manufacturing of wind, installation of wind power, 3,300 jobs. And if you want to get into solar, it's a little less, 1,900. Solar thermal, it's about 2,200. Not bad. But the game changer is buildings. 7,000 jobs, just shy of 7,000 jobs, if you dramatically change the construction and operation of our built environment. That's the game changer. It's in the construction of buildings and the operation and manufacturing of buildings that we can have the greatest return on the investment. And in a state that before Title 24, and that was the reference, this is 50% more efficient than our building standards, which are referred to as Title 24. We're a state with 70+% of all the residential housing, about 13 million units, that was constructed before Title 24. That means we have all this existing building stock that hasn't been designed with the kind of energy efficiency that we're celebrating here today at a whole new level. The opportunity then is self-evident to get into that existing building stock and start addressing these unemployment numbers by creating jobs in a way that few investments can create those jobs. So I'm here to sort of celebrate not the future, but the present, that this can be done in a sustainable way and a thoughtful way. We can build partnerships, we can get the state of California to become investors, public-public, not just public-private. And we can start turning our economy around if we have the courage to recognize the fact that the greatest gift that we have been given is a gift the voters have given us. Fran Pavley and the leadership in Sacramento, and finally the concurrence of our former governor, and that's the opportunity to implement AB 32 in a thoughtful and judicious way, which now requires us to dramatically change the way we produce and consume energy, and to think about projects, new construction projects like this, in a completely different manner. This is an extraordinarily exciting time. And this project represents the most significant project of its type anywhere else in the United States of America. I don't know that all of us appreciate the history that this project will represent as people look back at this moment. We are not talking about LEED certification anymore. With all due respect, that's like talking about hybrid cars. That's yesterday. We're talking about zero net energy. We're talking about today and tomorrow. That's the future. And that future is taking place in a state that's always been in the future business, California. On a 130-acre portion of a campus that's always been in the future business. But we're not just in the future business, we're in the how business. We're talking about how to actually make this work, make it economically responsible as well as environmentally sustainable. So as a former mayor of San Francisco, as your current lieutenant governor, I'm proud to be here. I'm proud of your work and your wisdom and your stewardship of our economy and our environment. And I look forward to many other projects like this as we meet our renewable energy portfolio standards and as we reach these extraordinary goals under AB 32. Final thing, even though I'm Jesuit educated, I do remember a little bit about my history. Michelangelo said it best. The biggest risk is not that we aim too high and miss it, it's that we aim too low and reach it. What you're doing here is proving that point, that this is a stretch goal that's actually being achieved. This was not folks dumbing down our expectations about what we're capable of. And that's why this is an enlivening time as well. Thank you very much.